Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. 2 videos ago, I set up March in my bullet journal using a Club Penguin theme. If you missed it, I'll have the video linked below. I really enjoyed doing the Club Penguin theme. It was fun to draw and I haven't put that much creativity and thought, I guess, into my bullet journal in a long time. Usually I just go with minimal designs. So doing the Club Penguin theme was new and fresh, and I really enjoyed it. However, as fun and cute as it is to do, it's not very practical in how I use my bullet journal. So for today's video, I'm going to be showing more minimal designs for weekly setups. This first layout I'm doing has very low structure. It's actually the layout I used in my January section that I didn't record because I didn't have a YouTube channel at the time. It doesn't have anything complicated in it. I just drew a calendar real quick where week 1 is written in blue ink and everything else is written in black ink, as a way to kind of highlight which week I'm currently on. Then I drew a box and wrote week 1 to do in it. This will be the highlights of the top things that I want to accomplish that week that don't really have a specific day those things need to be done on. The space around it will just be filled in with to-do lists that I'll make on that day. As you can see, I'm filling in some of the things I want to do for specific days. I'm sorry I'm filling out the days out of order. I didn't really prepare what I was going to write in each day before I recorded. I just wrote things in as they came to me. Moving on to the next page is my week 2 spread. This layout is going to have a little bit more structure and have a couple more components added to it. I was just penciling in my plans when I looked back at week 1 and thought it looked a little too minimal. So I just added in some drop shadows to the boxes with a gray Crayola super tip. I know it's a little hard to see what I'm doing in pencil, but it's just a lot easier for me to plan out this way in pencil instead of trying to go through and correct a bunch of mistakes with a white pen, since correcting lines with a white pen usually doesn't do that well. So I drew out 5 boxes. The box in the top left corner is going to be a calendar. This is going to look very similar to the week 1 setup, where week 2 is going to be written in a blue ink pen and everything else is going to be written in black to highlight that week. The box underneath the calendar is a space to meal plan. Then the top right box will be a space for a rolling weekly. I've seen a number of YouTubers use this, specifically Plant-Based Bride. I'll link her video below that explains what it is and how to use it in more detail. The next box is a priority to-do list, which was also on the week 1 spread. The final box is a very small habit tracker. So the idea of this layout was each box is its own widget, kind of. And I wanted to see how many widgets would fit on the page reasonably and how many were practical for me to use in a weekly. Then the rest of the page will just be used for daily to-do lists. I'm finishing up the spread with small drop shadows to kind of make all of these layouts more cohesive. Moving on to the next page will be my week 3 spread. Please ignore the next page with the yellow sticky note. That page is being reserved for something else that doesn't really have anything to do with this video. This layout may look familiar to some people who follow me on Instagram. This is what I did for my February layout. This worked very well for me. Each day has its own box and its own space. So it makes it very easy to plan ahead and not have to worry about things like to-do list. It just feels more organized to me, and I really like it. Then there's space for a rolling weekly at the bottom, which also works very well for me. I think this spread is probably my favorite layout for weeklies. I do see myself in the future falling back on this as a good old faithful, but I still want to try new things like I did in my weeks 1 and 2, just to see if something can work better. I know it's a little hard to tell on camera, but I do use 2 different colored pens. I'm using a blue ink and a black ink. I'm also trying to keep things very minimal, very easy and simplistic, but I do want them to be cohesive, so I go back to weeks 1 and 2 to add headers because I think it looks really nice that way. My week 4 spread is for those who think that my last couple spreads were too minimal, for people who want to be a little bit more creative. I'm drawing a picture of a penguin mining for coins. It's like one of those small things you can do in Club Penguin that's not really a mini game, but you can still get coins from it. My past couple spreads aren't really Club Penguin themed because I wanted them to be more minimal, but since my March theme is Club Penguin, I thought I would tie it in with this little more creative and artistic page. A spread like this isn't very practical for me because I don't do that much during the day and I don't need that much space per day. So one of the other spreads where I only have 1 page per week is more practical for me because I don't like to waste paper. However, if you're a person who has a lot going on during the day, maybe you have kids, maybe you have more of a social life than I do, then having 2 pages for 1 week is going to be more ideal for you. And you don't have to make it very artistic. As you can see, I don't add very many details. It's very minimal still. The only thing I'm going to add to this is some colored pencil. I know that March technically has a week 5 or like another half a week after week 4, which would have been a great place to add in another weekly spread, but that fact completely skipped my mind when I was setting this up. So I didn't make one, and I'll probably just include it in my April layout, my April weeklies, since I'll probably be setting up my April weekly in that time anyways. Here's a final flip through. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next week.